I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. David is the literal representation of a man who will waste your time for years. He will waste your youth. He will waste your energy. He might even waste your dollars. But that's into the stars before we even get there. I was disappointed because of this man's quickness to claim Liz at the masquerade ball. So you wanted to put your stamp on Liz. You wanted to show everyone that this is mine. No one touch her. You're sending the message to everyone that I'm going to invest in this person from here on and here out, right? So now you actually have to match up to that energy, David, and you fell short. You fell completely flat on your face. You didn't have to do that. You did not have to brand this girl as your girl. And now you have sabotaged and jeopardized her ability to make solid connections with everyone else because now they're thinking this is David's girl. That's number one. Number two, when he mentioned Kyra's, and I'm going to be all over the place because I watched this episode and I was just hot. I didn't take notes. The analysis, I'm past analysis at this point. Me, I want to fight. Like, I don't understand how, when he named Kyra as someone he saw himself going off into the sunset with, the amount of confusion, Kyra where? Kyra how? I can believe Joel and Kyra having dates behind the scenes. I can believe that. I can believe that Kyra probably has talked to some of the other guys, entertained some of the other guys, because she said she talked to Dietrich. And I didn't see it, but I believe it, right? I believe that she's obliged so many people's interest that it's a possible. Kyra, I don't think Kyra would ever check for David, so I don't believe that there was ever a connection there. So for him to choose her name, it was intentional. It was to get back at Jason because you are so upset that she was kissed by Jason. You decided to be petty in that moment. That is what it was. Let's call a spade a spade. You decided to be petty in that moment and get underneath Jason's skin by saying Kyra. By saying Kyra. So I pretty much saw what a lot of you guys have predicted in Jason. I saw a emotionally broken aspect of him. I saw a side of him that might have been controlling as well, because he, the way he tried to navigate that situation to me was just like, let me do what I can in order to, come out on top. You're trying to.
You mean David?
Yes, David.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, David. And so, and just with the previews going into next week, I can already see that this man is actually dangerous. He's actually dangerous. This is why my name for tonight's live is Pray for David, because what I will not do is be okay with you spewing your negative, toxic energy onto these innocent women. So we're going to pray for you. We're going to pray for you that God shields you with armor and shields these women with armor, okay? Because you're dangerous. You are so dangerous. He didn't even have a conversation with Liz. He didn't have a conversation about the kiss or how he was feeling. Or if you were so into Kyra, then that should have been a conversation like, hey, I know we've been doing this thing, but I'm going to rock it this way. There was no warning. There was no warning. Complete blindside. Okay. And I'm so confused as to how people join the show and decide to take their time. You joined an expedited process. You went on national television to claim to the world that you are ready to get into a relationship and get married. There's no taking it slow. I'm sorry, there's no taking it slow. I don't understand why he said he's going to take things slow with Liz. You are just going to waste her time. And we see through you. We're all adults here. We've heard this line before. We're not done. And so, David, if you're watching, I hope you're watching. I hope you're watching. You need to heal. You need to get therapy because your immaturity was on full blast last night. full complete last. You're playing with these girls' hearts like a Game Boy, like PlayStation, and it's not okay.
Whew, that was a strong start, isn't it? Freaking hell. If David's watching, he's freaking turned off now, isn't it? Dr. Amadi, thank you very much, Araba, for starting strong.
You can let the ladies go first. Let the ladies go first.
Oh, that means the smoke is roll. Okay, Professor Kelly.
Okay. Thanks, Araba. I'll take the baton from here. Okay. Look, David looks like he doesn't need ready to love. What he needs is sleep and a therapist. Okay? I'll start petty. I don't care. Sleep and a therapist, because those bags are not from raising 4 children, because we know he's not a Joel. He's not single-handedly raising those 4 kids. Okay? The mothers are still in their lives. So those bags are not just from doing other things. Those bags are from dealing with his deep-seated trauma and whatever is going on with him. His coping mechanisms are clearly not working. His crutches are broken. And he needs to figure something out and go straight to the nearest therapist. Okay, people say men are not emotional, men are logical, women are emotional. We are emotional beings, men, women, children, even animals. We are all emotional beings. God is an emotional being. He's jealous for you. He loves you. He hates sin. Those are all feelings. Those are all emotions. Okay, so for you to say men are not emotional is for you to say they're not God-like. Think about it. Okay? And the issue with saying men are not emotional is that you deprive them of the avenue for them to get the tools to deal with the emotions that naturally occur. David is jealous. He was hurt, he was jealous. And the thing with having such strong emotions and not having the tools to deal with them is that you will go as far as cutting off your nose to spite your face. So you're walking around bleeding on everyone, and especially the people who are closest to you, because you think your pettiness, you've achieved something. And so everything that we saw David do is a man who is building a whole bunch of emotions, has no tools to deal with them, and he's just lashing out. He was trying to punish Liz. For what? For dating on a dating show. He has a severe Madonna whore complex. For those who follow us on Maps, I've talked about this before. It's when people see women in a dichotomy. They don't allow for the gray. They don't allow for nuance. It's either she's Madonna, which is another way of saying Mary, and she's, pure, wholesome, a virgin, never been touched, whatever, or at least represents that respectability, or she's a whore. She's busting it wide. She's, whatever crude language you want to use, right, to describe it. And David has seen Liz initially as being Madonna, as being this Mary, as being this puritanical princess, despite the fact that she's a mature woman and she says she's had sex before. But in his mind, he had envisioned her as being pure in his narrow-minded definition of it, not in the redemptive state of Christ transforming and redeeming you despite whatever your past has been. He saw her as pure. And when she showed that she's a human being who is dating on a dating show, the same dating show that he's on, where she gets to talk to other men, where he gets to talk to other women, and she gets to kiss other men. Now, whether or not Jason kissed her or she kissed him, I'm not even going to go there. Why? Because it doesn't matter. He could not deal with the fact that she allowed herself to be kissed by someone else. So now automatically she's turned into a whore. She needs to be punished. She needs to be stoned. It's akin to the same story in the Bible where they bring the adulteress to Jesus and say, according to the law, she needs to be stoned. He, in his self-righteous brokenness, decided to bring her to the men's lounge, which was his place of judgment, for her to be, metaphorically, stoned. And so he is gleeful, man, we're going to all choose Kyra and walk away. He's gleefully saying that he, in his chess move, has intentionally put her at the bottom. That is vindictive. That is vindictive. And I know this is not life or death, but this is a testament to his character. And ladies, if anybody wants to give him the benefit of the doubt, I rebuke the spirit of Paige. I rebuke it. Stop it. We heard his wife's podcast, and people were saying we haven't heard his side of the story. We haven't we haven't. And so a lot of us were treading lightly These are in his own words. Catch this. Even in the men's lounge where he chooses Kyra, do you know what this man says? I will quote because I typed it out. Man, how many connections Kyra got? How much time in the day she got? Dude, she got the same amount of hours in the day as you. She got the same ability to flip-flop as you just have. How do you judge Kyra and not judge yourself for what you're doing to Liz? How do you say Kyra's my number one, but at the same time, she's still a whore? How do you insinuate that she's still a whore? Excuse me? And then his friend, his two friends that came to see Liz, you know, the lady treated things, you know, respectfully. The lady was a nice woman. She looked beautiful. I love what she was dressed as. The man, on the other hand, was already quick to jump to stereotypes that because Liz was single at 40-something, no drama, has kept herself, that she must be crazy. See, you are the company you keep. Because that is David's company. It does not matter how many Bibles he thumps together, that is the company he's keeping. Yes, Mr. Man in the blue who happened to just be on the show for free drinks or whatever, you are catching strays. Yes. Why? Because you should have been a lot more careful with your choice of words. This is a lady. And what if Dave and her get married and she watches that back and sees that you called her crazy? What are you going to do? I'm sorry. Yes, you are catching strays. Respect people. Respect. You can tell this is David's company. So it does not matter how many fedoras he wears, what kind of good clothes he wears, whatever he spit shines. What we saw, he did more damage than his ex-wife could have ever done with 1,000 podcasts. And I'll stop there.
I said there's going to be stray bullets going everywhere.